Good morning, good day, good evening from Mama Bali, and welcome to Guardians of Gaia New Moon Gathering in early September as we prepare for this very powerful passage through an eclipse sandwich with the equinox in the middle that we're embarking upon. So a really powerful time of purification and transformation is upon us. Personally, collectively, and planetary. And there's much that wants to come through the field today for all of those who are unable to join us and will be watching this recording later. Watch with alignment and harmonic to receive the codes that are coming through, for it will help you through this passage that we are embarking upon. So let us begin by going through the alignment practice together. I invite you to sound, breathe, and move if it is going to support you to align through the bodies. As we align our physical, mental, and emotional bodies with all-pervading soul or higher self, however you refer, and monadic galactic self. Thinking a luminous thread from the root, the base, the womb space, down through the floors, the soil, the sands, the bedrock, the waters, into the molten core in the heart of Gaia. And inhaling up that primordial energy of creation with ah or through the centers of the root, the base, the womb space, the belly, and the heart. One more time. Finishing with the hum of the honeybee, vibrating it through our heart into that unified field. Activating our earth star 1 foot beneath the feet and connecting through the divergent meridians of the planetary body. And those primordial elemental energies of creation in their purity and infinite potential, for they are evolving so that we may evolve in manifest physical reality. And inviting those elemental energies up through our pillar, cleansing, clearing, and purifying, regenerating, rejuvenating, and recalibrating all the way up to the soul star, 1 foot or half a meter above the head. As we activate the soul star, we're inviting in our celestial energy to mix with the terrestrial energies. Infusing our own golden toroidal field with a combination of the celestial and terrestrial elements that make up our integrated system. And breathing into that and harmonizing it with the celestial field of the planetary body, so that the two become one. Surrendering through the core of Source in the heart of Gaia, where the new earth architecture emerges. Where we are held, where we are supported, where we can surrender and relax into and unto. Surrendering through the core of Source in our own heart spaces. And through the core of Source in the heart of the Sun. And the core of Source in the great central Sun. While activating our solar discs within. Surrendering through the core of Source in the heart of the Moon and in the heart of Gaia. And activating our lunar disc. And surrendering through the core of Source in the galactic center. You may wish to visualize that in your pineal gland, gateway to God, all-seeing and all-knowing, or if it is descended further through your system, through your umbilicus. And from this space, we call forth our highest possible soul destiny and service, individually and collectively, to person, people, and planet, according to divine plan and divine will. In right relationship with these physical bodies and our human experience. And infused with health, wealth, and abundance into overflow. Kindness, empathy, compassion. Conscious community, deep intimacy, and love. Authenticity, creativity, synchronicity. And infusing that with play, passion, and pleasure. For we are here to enjoy life. Without attachment, with unconditional love. Understanding that life is not happening to us, it's happening through us and for us. Now I hand you over to Casey to continue this opening meditation with creation.
Thank you, everyone, for choosing to step in. We will continue our connection now by anchoring our pillars in one unified field. As we do, first anchor ourselves, our individual pillars, on the earth where we stand, connecting to Gaia, and connecting that cord all the way down to her core so that we can feel her and receive her messages through this transmission. And then connecting all the way up to Source, where we are held in the Source fields, in that unified field where we are in one connection together. Our fields are amplified, strengthened, fortified. Communication is exponential together in this field. We will welcome in the supporters of the unseen realms, all of those beings that walk on Gaia, of the 2 foot, the 4 foot, our animal allies, calling into circle at this time, calling in the waterways, the riverways, the ocean ways, all carrying those ancient codes of remembrance for us, and our pathways back to our most ancient selves through the water itself, through our memories, both through the good times and the sad, through the tears and the warring times, through the celebrations and the love. All of these are waterways back. Calling in the mountains, our earth guardians, our Apu, our rock giants, all into the space that wish to be in the circle today. Calling in also all of the winged, our birds, our supporters that fly in the sky, that see beyond what we can see in the human level. Calling in all of our light teams, our star families, to come join us at this time, to be part of the circle with us, knowing that we have the highest perspective when we are connected out to our monadic self, our soul self, connected to our soul families. Calling in our dragon families, the dragon clans of all kinds, of all shapes and sizes, knowing that they have been on this earth plane and many other planetary bodies long before we can remember. And that stepping back into our most ancient dragon self is stepping back into that creation mode where all things are possible, and breathing life into the spaces and places where there is none through our dragon families. Calling in the cetacean nations who just watch from the sidelines through this circle, although they are very active on the earth plane and in other planetary spaces. Today, they are going to be space holders for us, holding that expanded heart space for us to step into more fully. And now stepping into the field of love through the bee families that buzz so beautifully around us, that step into their most expanded state and help us to step into our next level. We are calling into this space at this time, specifically the star tribes, those who represent our native families here on the earth plane, the galactic connections, the star lineage from which all of the natives, our native self, is born, and through which we are coming back to, we are coming home to in our journeys. We welcome them at this time. As they step into circle, they greet us and say thank you for remembering. Thank you for acknowledging that we are connected to you always. We are the brightest stars that you see. We are the ones that hold the keys, unlocking your remembrance. We hold the pathways back, just like the waterways, the rivers that you walk along, back to your highest aspect of self, connecting you back to the mountains, to the portals, to the gateways that go beyond this earth plane, that go into inner earth, that go into the cosmic spaces, the doorways that are ready to open to you. We hold those keys for you. We have the maps dating back to the most ancient star lineage. And we are grateful to be part of the circle today. As we stay in this expanded state, this connection state, knowing that the information that's going to be come forward in the circle today is for the next level advancement for each of us here and for all of those participating in all the levels. We are ready to step into circle and receive at this time. In this connected circle, we will come back to our individual spaces and places just so that we can operate more fully in the human system. Slowly tracing our ways back to the human self. Breathing life into your body, add gentle movement. Feel your feet on the floor, the chair beneath you. Breathe deeply into your lungs. And when you're ready, open your eyes, choosing to come all the way in at this time.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Casey. And it was beautiful just before we opened circle this morning to connect with Casey and ask more of what wanted to come through today regarding the origin code. And in that conversation, it came into my awareness that after exploring many different of the red road paths, the green paths, the yellow paths on our earth, how many cultures honor our origins from the stars in their creation stories, yet that knowledge was through the creation story, and it was an embodied communication that had been maintained with our galactic origins. And it feels like today's journey is very much, yes, in these creation stories that honor our origins as a soul from the stars. And now is the time that we reconnect and open those passageways with communication with our galactic origins, with our star systems of origins. With awareness to be able to do that safely, we must come into the body. And we really must occupy these bodies and command our space and our lighthouse on this planet. Because opening without coming in is a health hazard for ourselves and others, for our families, our communities, and the collective. So it's very, very important that we do the foundational and body work as we are striving to open to more of ourselves. And for those that haven't done that, it feels important to mention that on the Earthwalk Global website, you will find the foundation of embodiment, 8 shamanic journeys that really concentrate on that foundational piece so that we are strong and solid unto ourselves. And therefore, through the body, are able to master discernment when we navigate the world beyond this one. And if we think this one is pretty chaotic right now, as above, so below. So that mastery of discernment is vital to navigate the unseen realms, because you get shapeshifters in the unseen realms. You get light beings with agendas in the unseen realms. And not all visions of light are without agenda. So the way we feel discernment is through the body. And the way we feel it through the body is through our own embodiment. And on that note, what more is there to share and to come through for us today? There is much moving in our dragon temples with our dragon clans.
Bodhi, do you want to share what you've been working on?
Okay, yeah. I was I was planning to share at finish or the code. Anyway, I had a dream, like a kind of weird dream. In my dream, I bought a chair. Actually, I in real life I bought a chair, and then the chair was in my dream, and then the chair is this chair. Like this. I bought it, and then it was in my dream. And then this chair, like give birth to a baby. But the baby was like 70, more than 70 star being, something like 90 or 70. So I just when I wake up, I channel what's the message. That's I got that the chair was a pyramid, white pyramid, light code. I shared before. And then the white pyramid, when I activate white pyramid light code in certain place, it can create some kind of crystal, very valuable crystal underneath the pyramid. So I got 13 place I should do, and then I just installed one place yesterday. I activate white light white pyramid light code when I go back. I mean I astral travel to certain location, and then I install a pyramid, and then what was another light code? Mm, and then there's another light code. It called ultra vision light code. I put the it's kind of like a beaming light on top of the pyramid, so it can activate pyramid, and then maybe it can create or activate certain crystal underneath the pyramid. So I got one GPS for now, and then I should have a I should find another 12 point. Yeah, so I don't know where it is right now, because I just got one, and then maybe maybe today I will activate another one, and then tomorrow I will activate another one. Like it will be ending like a 13th day after. So it might be 13. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah. For now, yes. Yeah. That's all. And then when I activate pyramid, I got help from maybe 12 or 13 archangel. I don't know why it's 13, but I got I'm sure I need to ask help from 12 archangel. I don't know what's gonna be 13. So anyway, so maybe I'm not sure what's gonna come. So yeah, that's what I'm doing now. Yeah.
Thank you, Bodhi, for your service and for the update. I'd also just checked in with Casey earlier. The first one seems to have been activated in the Arabian Sea.
Yeah.
And what you are speaking about 12 in the next 12 days feels resonant, that there will be 11 more in the next 11 days prior to the equinox passage. And as I feel into what is activating with these etheric pyramids and the crystals beneath them is what it's doing, because we've done so much work with the planetary pyramid system. What these etheric pyramids and the crystals beneath are doing is they're connecting us through to the off-planetary pyramidal systems. So they're pyramids that are existing within our galaxy, in other star systems, is basically reconnecting the work there. And it actually makes me think of when I was in Sedona. Don't know if it was the last time or the time before, in Bear Cloud's gallery. He's got some amazing paintings of the off-planetary pyramid systems that are in other star systems that he's painted in his artwork there. It's amazing. So yeah, that all feels true and resonant. So take care of yourself over the next 11 days. And it feels like there is 12, and quite often when 12 are activated, that creates the 13th. There's not 13. The 12 activated create the 1, create the 13th. And that's why 13 is such a lucky number. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Wonderful. John, what you got for us?
Hi, guys. I was just thinking about Leanne sharing a little bit around that message that you sent to me. I didn't know whether it was appropriate for here or whether you and I share that separately, you know. But you know, I'll share what happened. So I am dealing with some health challenges, and that's been very interesting the last year or so. And coming into this Southern Hemisphere spring feels like there's a spring energy happening within my being as well too. It's like this awakening, and I feel so energized. But Leanne suggested that I have a look at an energy from Egypt that was to do with a past life. And this was, my connections with Egypt are huge. Ever since I was a child, my mother used to bring me Egyptian artifacts, and I was absolutely mesmerized by the colors of turquoise and gold and things like that. And that's always been with me. And Leanne suggested I have a look at a past life at a temple there. I just wrote the name because I never heard of this one. Komombo, it was called, the Komombo Temple. And I hadn't really been aware of that particular one too. So normally when Leanne or other people give me a bit of a lead of something to look at, I tend to procrastinate, and I just say, yeah, I'll sort that out in a couple of days' time. But there was such a strong pull and message said, no, you do that now. And so I just went straight into meditation. And when I go into meditation, I connect with my higher self and my helpers and my guides. And I went to that temple. When I got there, this is the experience that I had. When I saw this temple, I saw it as a place where there were a lot of energy lines coming through it. There were huge energy lines, but when I looked at the energy lines within the temple itself, they came together in like a knot, in a fishing line knot, when you get a thing we call a bird's nest, and they're just absolutely chaotic tangle of things like that. And I saw this absolute tangle of energy lines, and I looked at that, and it seemed familiar, a familiar connection there. I experienced myself initially as almost like a pharaoh, because I could see a skirt and a bare chest and a crown, but that's kind of changed more into like a priest at some point as well too. And I've always been aware of past lives in Egypt as a priest. And so I looked at that knot that was within the temple, and I basically wasn't sure what to do, and that's how it feels a lot of the time like that. But a message came to breathe on it and blow on it. So I used my breath, and I breathed on the knot, and there was a little bit of change in it, but it wasn't enough. It didn't untangle or anything like that. And so I thought, okay, well, what do I do now? And I kept getting messages, ask for help. So I said, can I have some help? And I get really emotional around the Hathor. And the Hathor arrived because I have such a loving connection with the Hathor. And the Hathor was there, but the Hathor was me too. And the Hathor was there, and the Hathor was beaming energies within this knot as well too. And it even unraveled some more. And I felt a real coming home again with the Hathor in this place. It was beautiful, but it still wasn't 100% complete. And so again, I asked, and there were some energies there that I didn't really recognize initially till I kind of looked into it later on. And one of them was the crocodile, and the other one was, I found out later, was Horus as well too. They were both there, those energies. And so I worked with them, and the untangling completed to probably not quite 100%, but almost. It seemed like it was, but I wasn't really sure. And so I came away from that meditation. One other thing, Waveney and I've just been out, and we've just been sitting in the car talking about this because I hadn't shared it with her. And I'm aware of quite a bit of detail around my past life. The past life in Egypt, I was a priest, or one of the past lives I was a priest. And one of my jobs at around 12,000 BC in the temples around the fall of Atlantis was the DNA healing of the Atlantean experiments between humans and animals. They were playing around with DNA, and a lot of as Atlantis sunk, the people or the entities or energies or whatever they were that came out of Atlantis were coming into Egypt for healing to the temples. And one of my jobs as a priest was to untangle and to reinstate the DNA of these people that had been that had this done to them at that time too. So anyway, I in sharing that with Waveney just about an hour ago, I had another big emotional release again. It was really, really huge and strong, because that is a part of what I can do with me, with what I'm dealing with, is to do with my DNA, is what I've done before and what I know. And perhaps it's time to remember that again as well too, you know. And anyway, about another 3 or 4 days ago, I kept having this thing, this is not quite complete, it needs to complete. And so I went into meditation. Actually, before I did that, I actually listened to your message, your voice message again, Leanne. And what you said to me was about in going to this temple to bend time and to change, to bring that timeline of whatever went there into my current timeline. I think that was the gist of what you said. And that was more like a specific bit of information. So I sat with that a couple of days ago and I felt something else change again. There was another release and something like that too. So in the last few days, I kind of felt like there's a transmutation happening. And I can't say I fully understand it. It's just, I feel better, I feel energized, and there's a whole release happening. And I feel, I don't know, I'm cracking jokes and things like that, and laughing and
being more helpful
around the house and feeling joy and stuff like that. It's just like, you know, sometimes I expect something cathartic, but it's just like it's like something's changing, like within the DNA as well too. So anyway, I just wanted to share that, and I'm going to continue with it, and the meditation is something that I'm listening to that voice a lot more, you know, and it says, come here and go inside, you know, we have a message for you. And I haven't always been like that because of the stories and the voices and the you know, the whole stuff that goes on in your head thinking about stuff when I used to run a bunch of businesses as well. And I feel, you know, you said when we sold up that it's going to take you a year or two to let go of that, and that's what it feels like. I've come nearly 2 years since we let all that go, and I'm just starting to let go and coming into the here and now, and allowing myself to just flow with my energies and to listen. And it's been such a gradual process as well too. But yeah, lots happening.
Thank you, John. Thanks for sharing, and thank you for following your intuition there. For those that are watching, just a bit of an intro. Komombo Temple is on the east bank of the Nile, between Aswan and Luxor. It's one of the biggest powerhouse initiation temples on the Nile. And many of us who have many lifetimes in Egypt have got a lot of history in Komombo. Komombo is the temple of Sobek, the crocodile god, and Horus, the child of Isis and Osiris, the hawk god. And it's often a place where people will reclaim aspects of their consciousness. So good on you, John. Yes, 3 timelines there are popping up, 1 pharaoh and 2 high timelines as a high priest, and there's 1 you still want to excavate. However, it is great to see you stepping a foot back into the land of the living 2 years later. And let this be a guideline to everyone to follow your soul's calling no matter what. Even if it's beyond the logic of the mental body, the logical mind, the way we've been programmed. At this stage of evolution for our planet and humanity, we are not in the position to delay.
Yeah.
Or to negotiate what our soul is guiding us to do. yes, primal responsibilities to family and commitments. However, beyond that, our genius, our creative genius, our evolution lies in where our soul's taking us. And with that also opens the pathways to abundance and to overflow that will support us. We actually have to let go of the old so that we can fully step into the new, close all the back doors, bring our consciousness into here as creators in creation.
Can I just
didn't
share
know.
one more thing too? Sorry, there was one thing that Waverley just reminded me that happened in that second one there too, and it's something that I've always subconsciously felt. There's a connection for me with Sobek and the crocodile, and I have a fear around it, and I don't know whether the fear is to do with a crocodile attack or a crocodile bite or a crocodile something. But when I went back there, the crocodile was there, Sobek, and the fear was there. And you know, my intuitive energy was to throw my arms around the crocodile, and it was there on my stomach, and there was just this huge feeling of love between us. And in doing that process, I felt the whole energy around the crocodile kind of dissipate as well too. And that was another significant thing too for me. Yeah. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, John. And let that be a message to all of us. The greatest hurdle for our embodiment evolution is fear. So as an acronym, F everything and run, face everything and recover,
Face everything.
or false evidence appearing as real.
Yes.
When we can walk in this world beyond fear and beyond the fear of death, we can no longer be manipulated. It is that simple. And when I was taken through a very real life initiation in a death and black magic in Africa, it literally catapulted my evolution and embodiment when I was no longer afraid. It's huge. So yeah, well done. And on the note of Egypt, it's interesting because I just 2 days ago spent the weekend tuning in and tracking out the next sacred journey through Egypt. Although I was first in Egypt in 1989 and ran trips through there afterwards, there's been 3 big sacred journeys since then, one through the Egyptian timelines, one through the Atlantean timelines, and one reinstating the divine blueprint of our galactic origins was the last one in 2022. And those were all run through the Lion's Gate. And the next one that wishes to unfold is actually September equinox. It's just over a year away. And this one is a very different energy because it is all about our ancient future, and it's open to soul families and families. There's some of our next wave of galactics who are around 2 years old now, maybe 3 years old then, which have also been called into the field. So I'm really excited what that journey has for those who are going to be called to it beyond age, gender, generation, and orientation, and what wants to unfold for the planet and humanity. It's really exciting. So I guess we've had etheric white pyramids, we've had Egypt in here. What else would like to come through today while we're together? Casey.
I will share a little bit about what I've been working on the last couple of weeks. I took a journey over to Mount Shasta and working with one of our soul sisters in connection to the native tribes specifically, and clearing the waterways that are connected to all the tribal lands in order to bring the codes that I carry, or the codes that I'm able to bring through, back into the sacred waterways. My guides were saying that if I could get my codes into the water, that we could bring it out to all the people in the land, all the tribal people, that they could step back into their original blueprint, their original divine blueprint, their native blueprint, by immersing themselves in the water. And so I went to sacred places like Panther Meadows and did sacred ceremony there. I went to the headwaters for the Sacramento River. I went to the Klamath River, which connects all the way out to the ocean and the waterways. And each time I would go into ceremony and bring through codes that wanted to come through and connecting energetically to the waterways. And during one of those days, my physical body took on a massive headache and it didn't want to be cleared. And then it was through our mastery class with Leanne that I had her tap in. And there was a blockage in my right occiput that was also mine, but it was a bigger piece that belonged to the collective as well. And it was not being able to tap back into those origin codes specifically. So as a group, we cleared that both for my system, I cleared that, and then also for the collective as well. And what wants to come through at this time feels like there needs to be a bridge connecting to the the native origin, which we all carry from different lifetimes, and connecting back into that galactic pathway so that we can have the steps tracing back to kind of anchor back into where we all started from. Because there's division that's happening among the tribes. And it's almost as if it has gone so long that the tribes don't even speak the same language anymore, even the neighboring tribes. They're very individualized at this point. And so in order to do that, we need to bring back the codes of oneness, of unity, of one tribe, one nation, and connecting us back to the stars where we all started from. Hang on, Leanne, you're muted, love.
Thank you, Casey. Thank you for remembering and bringing these pieces of the puzzle from our Mastery of Multidimensionality group in, because a couple things come to mind. One that unfolded through that is, remember during colonialism, the powers that be drew borders that were not in harmony with the land or the people. So in a lot of the borders that were drawn, both through the American states and through Africa, they drew lines through the middle of unified fields, creating separation as part of the colonization. Remember, the triangle of disempowerment, victim, persecutor, rescuer, can operate individually. It can operate in intimate relationship or a business relationship, and it was used to colonize and conquer the planet. So this, what we went through the process of is removing the artificial borders so that unity could be restored. Unity within those within one ethnic group, unity with those within the many ethnic groups. For we are all indigenous peoples of this planet at our roots. And as you were sharing, it was wonderful because as I was doing my morning practice this morning, I was reminded of something I realized years ago. It's like, when we are born unto these bodies in this earth walk at this time, we have biological DNA genetics. We also have our souls genetics, and our souls have had many lifetimes in many walks, on many continents, in many different colored skins. And it's really important to remember that, because that is also what helps restore our unity consciousness. How could there be separation when once I walked in that body, in that area on this earth, just in a different timeline? And as you were talking of the prayers and the codes through the waterways, my whole system was lighting up with, I was going to say stardust, but it's not. It's like liquid light, star infusion through the waterways, particularly at the source of the Sacramento River for some reason. So that was really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, that connection goes all the way down into California. So connecting all the way down to like even Mexico. And what was interesting is we're noticing that when the natives leave the land loses all of its energy, right? And then the waters get sick. So it's a big cycle that needs repair at this time.
Yeah. Just asking if there's anything that's required of us here today in this moment to support this process of reunification and remembering. And I'm getting there is. It's a clearing of interference that's galactic of nature on a galactic and inner earth level that's been holding the gridlock. It's interesting because we talk about the gridlock between land and people, that it has to move in one to move in the other. But this has been gridlocked in land, people, and inner earth and galactic. So it's been held really tight and it wants to be unraveled and set free. So maybe if we just invite everybody into their pillar, into their point on the planet, and through our unified field, we ask for support. Universal Federation Light, please overlight secure, be on standby. All galactics above that wish to be removed. 4 in 4 places. The 2 dual carriageway and 4 different points on the planet, the 4 corners that would like to be removed. You're just being with your breath and your body. Obstruction with dual carriageway. That's the first one removed. Second, first dual carriageway, set 2. Set 2 complete. Third set. And fourth set. So that's the galactic interference from outside. And now we want to go into the inner earth. And again, there's 4 galactics and 4 sets and 2 dual carriageways. So set 2, second point in inner earth. Set 2 complete. Set 3 and last one. So feeling the ecstasy as the ripples of those energetics unravel out through the planet, out through the planetary body. Go ahead,
And
Casey. How did that look from the inside?
it looks really great. I can see that inner earth connections especially lighting up. And as we're sitting here, specifically the Wintu tribe is asking to be acknowledged in the circle. These are the natives that are the native tribe that's in protection of Panther Meadows, right up on top of Mount Shasta, at the base of Panther Meadows, and then down the mountain. They're still standing as guardians for her, for Shasta. And it feels like they have a connection to Telos, like the crystal city on the inside. It feels like there's still connection origin codes that they still carry, which is super interesting. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. I can actually, it's not just the codes and connection, it's almost like the corridors, the physical corridors and passageways between them and those in Telos are opening up after that. It's almost like, I remember my first meeting when I was taken up to Shasta and up behind Panther Meadows in the spring there, and lay down and went into Telos and had this extraordinary meeting and welcoming home from the Telos community, from Adama. And what I'm seeing now is it's literally going to be a more physical, visceral experience than an etheric experience, is the passageways that have just been opened up there. Wow, exciting. Because remembering at the time of the fall, we had limited amount of times to close down the inner earth and galactic gateways. Some were closed down successfully and safely, others were compromised in the process, which we've been working with. But what's happening in this turning over of time is the reopening and reconnection of our inner earth and galactic gateways. And it feels like this is one of the first ones that will be going to the next level. It's the one there on Shasta. Yeah. How exciting for you and all those in the Shasta neighborhood. Yeah. And as we finish that clearing, what I was noting is fences and barriers, physical fences and barriers of belief were being dismantled that were keeping separation between different people of different ethnic origins, be it on the same continent or different continents. And that was really interesting. And I was watching teepees being taken down and coming together in enormous gatherings on the earth, very much of unification of the tribe of the One Heart race and those that are remembering unity consciousness. So how about that for a New Moon Guardians of Gaia gathering? As we open up to this eclipse and equinox passage, is there anything more that anyone has to questions or contribute to today's circle before we close? Yeah, wait.
Yeah. This is probably not quite as esoteric as what we've been doing, but I've just got this beautiful magic bottle that is called Lumi Vitae, and it puts hydrogen, bubbles hydrogen through the water. I don't know whether you can see it, they're bubbling away. Yeah, but more than that, on the top, it has 3 different frequencies you can choose to put through the water, plus different colors that you can put through as well. And what feels really special about it is that I'm really quite focused on my body lately. So this is about hydrating your body, not irrigating it. So it's getting into the cells. The hydrogen molecule's so small, as you probably know. So when you said about liquid light, Leanne, this is liquid light. So it's got when you do luma vitae frequencies, that's got the galactic, solar, and that's got the earth down here. So you're getting both those frequencies. So, you know, I'm just really, John and I are drinking quite a bit of this water, and I'm noticing quite a bit of difference on just in my buoyancy and lightness of being, I guess you'd say. So I just want to share that because it's sort of what it's my little magic thing at the moment. But I think really when I tuned in, it's like when you're talking about the liquid light, the hydrogen is in the cosmos, the hydrogen molecules. Yeah, so, and the oxygen, obviously, in planet Earth. Yeah, so that's my contribution. Yeah.
Thank you, Waveney, and thank you for bringing this technology into the circle. Also with, you know, I spent a lot of time exploring technology in my earlier years, and I would work with it for as long as it served me, and then I would let it go, because what I found out is our systems are biological, their evolution potential is infinite. So therefore, the technology would have limits to it if it wasn't direct source and infinite field. So different technologies can support us at different stages of our embodiment and evolution. I encourage people not to get too attached to any of it. And when I tune into this Luma Vitae, I get the same. For some people, it will be very supportive at different stages on their evolution, and it has a plateau. It has a limitation. And not to be attached to it, and to be very aware when you've reached the level of evolution that any sacred geometry device technology can support us on, to let it go. And
yeah,
because our infinite potential is source orientated, it's organic of nature. And right now, the best water any of us can possibly have is vital earth spring waters, particularly that is in sync with our evolutionary bodies on the point of the planet that we're on. When that's not available, obviously next best options, open the list, but really important to have that. So thank you for bringing it in.
Yeah.
Thank you, Leanne. Yeah, I'm aware of that too, because having sort of played around with different technologies, I find that too. I, you know, get right into it, and then I reach a point where no more. Yeah, and yeah, so I totally get that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good advice. So thank you. Yeah. Yep.
Thank you.
Sort of
Thank
say,
you all.
one final thing too is when you said to me about coming to Egypt, about codes within me that are connected with Kamombo, and I recognized them in meditation. And when you suggested about going to Egypt, I said no. You know, I said it's not going to happen. It can't happen. But just in recent days, I have let go of that really rigid thought, and I have allowed. And I don't know what that means next year. I don't know what that is next year, but it feels really good to let go of a rigid thought I have around it and just allow whatever might happen. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you, John. And yeah, somebody said to me once, any belief is limiting.
Yeah.
And when they said that to me, I paused and stopped, like, because I could feel the truth in that comment. And I'm like, oh my God, time to unpack. it all. If we're open to our infinite potential, we actually have to unpack all the beliefs that we've had at different stages of our journeys that have supported our structure and our organization and understanding of reality. Am I centered, aligned, coherent, and embodied enough now just to operate from this present moment and what is true to my soul wisdom in this moment? And as I say that, a dragonfly has just landed over the camera of our call.
Yeah.
Literally, I've never had a dragonfly land there and put its wings over the
Lovely.
camera before.
Cool.
Our messenger of transformation is amidst. Gotta love Bali and the connection with nature here. It's beautiful. So, wow. Thank you all for our journey today. May we all return fully intact onto the earth plane, and I will ask Casey to lead our closure for today.
Thank you, everyone, for being here and sharing your codes in circle. We're going to just breathe back into our bodies for a minute. Thanking that field of connection for which we were so beautifully held. Allowing for that information to come forward, sharing heart to heart in this space. And knowing that through these codes and words that were shared, the messages are received both in the physical, on the cellular, in the etheric, and on the soul level. Knowing that if something did not quite land, it will land in another place at a time when we are ready to receive the galactic realms, our star families, the star tribes that wish to come forward in this circle today. Thanking our dragon families, our dragon clans, our animal allies, the whales. Thanking galactic Gaia, thanking Mama Earth in all levels that she is here with us, supporting us on our journeys. Thanking our soul families for showing up and being here today, for being with us in the expanded space, and those who showed up on the call as well. We are welcoming in the new change with the new moon and releasing the old always to create more space for the expanded state of all. And through our heart spaces, all messages are felt and received. All messages are given at the right time to our highest selves that can hear the call. We will slowly come back into our individual pillars, anchoring into our individual places and spaces on the earth plane, anchoring our energy back into our physical bodies that we might land more fully, that we might enter into our day in a grounded space, bringing in that beautiful blend between our terrestrial and celestial, that we can be in both places at the same time, and that we are both places in our multidimensional selves. We'll slowly add a little gentle movement back into our bodies, disconnecting at this time from the group field, and knowing that we are always connected to Source and to the soul connections wherever we are, that we are never alone. When you're ready, you're going to add some gentle movement to the body, feeling the floor beneath our feet, feeling the chairs underneath us, breathing deeply into the lungs, adjusting your body where it needs to adjust, and choosing to come back in when you are ready.
Thank you, Casey. Thank you, everyone, for gathering today and for those that will join us later. And remember, what you seed on this new moon is going to take you through the eclipse and equinox passage. So be mindful what you're feeding your thoughts, words, and actions to, and consciousness and energy to, for we are creators of our reality. And on that note, our next gathering will be held on Wednesday, the 18th of September, on the full moon eclipse. And we actually have a guest on that next gathering, Sean Caulfield, a dear brother from South Africa, who is an artist and who has a very personal connection with the Komani San, the Kalahari Bushmen, who hold the codes of creation prior to manifestation that they share through their trance dance. And Sean has also done a lot of work with Carl Johann Kalaman and the Mayan calendar and the 9 levels of consciousness and the evolution of humanity. And he is going to be our guest on the 18th. It'll be Wednesday the 18th. Sorry for those in the US time zones. It does not support American time zones at all. However, we will meet at 7:30 p.m. New Zealand, 3:30 p.m. Bali, Indonesia, 9:30 a.m. South Africa and Central Europe, and 8:30 a.m. in UK. And it would be wonderful to have those join us who are able, willing, curious, and interested to. So much love, everyone. Take good care, and we will see you there.
Okay.